Dude, seriously, we need to bring medieval European music back to the music industry. This stuff poppin'. Anyway, hi everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome back to another exciting week of world history class. Now kids, first things first, I am stoked for this week. Again, as always, if you love blood, guts, death, sadness, tears, you're going to really enjoy our time together this week. However, first things first, we need to have a nice little recap of what we've already talked about in unit number 4, of course, our unit entitled Europe in the Middle Ages. All right. Now, first off, last week we studied the Book of Kells. Now, this movie, first things first, is very creepy and very strange and very bizarre, but as I told all of you, most of it, actually really happened. The Book of Kells is a real book. The city of Kells is a real place. And yes, they really were attacked by the Vikings. Now, for many of you kids, you probably already figured this one out, but the Book of Kells was a special book. The book that turns darkness into light. Now, a lot of you kids are smarter than the average bear because you already figured out that yes, the book that turns darkness into light, the Book of Kells, is actually an example of a Bible. Now, I want you to remember this. I want you to think about this. Back in the Middle Ages, there was not convenient printing. There was no internet. There was no Wi-Fi. There was no cell phones. So, the only way to get information was through books. But you can't just go to the store and print out a bunch of books. Books had to be handwritten. That is what you saw in the movie. They were handwriting, in their opinion, the most important book to ever exist, the book known as the Bible. Now, as you can also probably imagine, what this eventually led to was that somebody in Europe started becoming very powerful. Now, who is that somebody? Well, technically speaking, it's not a somebody, but rather a something. Well, I'll just give it to you. It is the church. What started happening in Europe during this time is the medieval church started gaining major power. Now think about this. There is no competition. There are no other religions, well, to a lesser extent, Judaism, but most of all, the religion of Christianity-Catholicism was the number one ultimate uber power haver in the Middle Ages in Europe. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to look at power and who has power and who does not have power, and I am going to familiarize you with a term that you probably remember. Do you remember? Feudalism. Now, if you can go back a couple weeks, we talked about feudalism when we were talking about Japan. Now, I want you to see if you can remember what are the levels of Japanese feudalism. If you need to use your notebook, of course you can cheat because you already have one of the triangles there. But can you remember? Now, of course, at the top of Japanese feudalism, we have the emperor. However, he didn't really have all that much power because the people running the show were actually the people one down called the shoguns, followed by wealthy, rich landowners called the daimyo, followed by samurai, followed by peasants, artisans, and merchants. Now, here's the good news. They had feudalism in Europe too. But here's the great part. It's actually less complex. There is only 5 levels. Now, at the very bottom, we have these people called peasants and serfs. Now, peasants are simply poor farmers. Serfs are a version of slaves. Then, just above them, we have the opposite of days. We have the knights. Now, just above the knights, we have these people called lords and ladies. These are the people that, in your imagination, these are the ones that live inside of castles. Now, of course, above all of them, we have the kings and queens. Now, you're probably thinking, Huntsinger, wait, didn't you say there was 5 levels? Lest you forget, above everybody else, we have the church. Now, I'm sure that many of you people actually know who this person is. Now, the leader of the church, his name is the Pope, El Papa. Now, the Pope became the most powerful person in all of Europe at this time. If the Pope told you to do something, you had to do it. Now, kids, what you are simply going to do today for your activity is nice and easy. Now, because I love all y'all, I actually wrote the sentences for you. Is that nice of me? I don't know. I think it is. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to go to page 22 of your World History Notebook, page number 22. And you are going to title this Feudalism in Europe. Now, you're going to make this triangle, divide the triangle into 4 sections, and then in the clouds, I want you to do 2 clouds. Remember, above all else, the church had the most power. Let me get rid of my evil pop-up. Now, the church had the most power. Now, over here, you are going to draw a picture of the Pope. Now, if you need to find a picture of the Pope, Google him. Yeah. Now, what you're simply going to do is you're going to copy out the sentences that I have for you here. You can pause the video if you would like to, copy it all down, and then you are going to draw an illustration showing lords and ladies, an illustration showing a knight, blood please, and finally, an illustration showing peasants and serfs. Now, kiddos, I am going to check this tomorrow, or whenever I see you next, and you will receive points for your triangle. So don't let this one slip, kiddos. All right, I will see you all when I see you. Oh my God, we have a great lesson planned for us whenever I see you again. Love you, kids.